oops, I like to keep my colors consistent. What is the formula mass of nitric acid? So nitric acid, not sure if you had the time, maybe you already paused it and found the answer already, but nitric acid, now this is actually one of the more complicated ones because you kind of have to know two things off the bat. So for acids, you know that there's an H, okay, at least one hydrogen, that is like the acid component, okay. And now we want to be able to know what nitric acid is. So there's the hydrogen. Now here's the part you have to memorize, is that certain types of certain types of elements combine with oxygen. When you turn to acid, they end in ic. That's a very long explanation, but let's put it this way, okay? If it's an acid, in fact, let me just put it this way. Acid, right? So then we have IC is the end, okay? No acid, as in, you know, just by itself, it ends in 8, okay? So the reason why I say that is because we're actually going to tie way back to what we were doing. Remember when I mentioned sulfate? In this case here, nitric acid started off as a nitrate, okay? This is nitrate, NO3 minus. As I mentioned, for nitric acid, you need at least one hydrogen because they come in pluses, just like 1 plus. So to balance this out, so you have 1 plus and 1 minus. So nitric acid is just HNO3. Now, the thing is though, is I was able to just, you know, say that because I've gotten quite familiar with these type of molecules, but there's like nitrous as well, like nitrous acid, which is NO2, okay, and instead of 8 being like that's nitrite. So just like things like that you have to memorize, and like this one will be considered the full one, and this one will be like -1 oxygen, okay. And as an example, we have NO3, that's the 8, and NO2, that's an 8. But I'm probably just like spouting a bunch of almost nonsense, which is why for these it's just important that when you are given the table with the different sulfates, different types of 8s, and then the different types of ions are on that list, it's just very important to get as familiar as you can with them, because especially in chemistry, these things don't just show up and disappear. They're quite reoccurring. So just to have the best foot in chemistry is always just to be able to kind of get familiar and start memorizing them as early as possible, because you will thank yourself later for sure. So that's HNO3, that's nitric acid, but that's not what the question is asking for. It's asking for the formula mass of nitric acid. So there's a part 2 of this. Now that we have the actual molecular compound nitric acid, right, the formula, right, we need to now get its mass. And we do this the same way. 1 hydrogen, 1 nitrogen, 3 oxygens, okay? And now we know that oxygen was 15.999, 14.007, 1.008. I just remember exactly. We've done quite a bit of questions, so if you've listened to these videos, you also start getting real familiar with these values and just be able to just say them right off your top of your head. 1.008. But I would actually preface that with, it's never too much of an effort to check what you're saying is correct. You don't want to be using the wrong numbers and then getting to an answer you do not recognize. Okay? So now we're going to add all this 3 together. Plus 14.007 plus 1.008, 63.012 grams per mole. That is a molar mass of nitric acid. Okay, and let's see how we did. Nice. Amazing. So first, they just say that the chemical formula is HNO3, but I kind of try to break it down, but it still really just goes down to just memorizing that concept. Unfortunately, I cannot just give you a way for you to just get it right off the bat. It is something that does take practice, unfortunately, so I definitely implore you to continue trying to memorize that table and stuff, but the best way to memorize is just to do questions, and that way, you know, it gets more and more familiar. So with that, let's move on to question 13.